right, welcome to another episode of Key Biscayne Stories where neighbors meet neighbors. Today I have Mario Cicilia. He is the founder of the brand Sake Room, and he is also co-owner of the Sake Room restaurant in Key Biscayne. So a lot of us have been to the Sake Room. I have been there as well. It's one of our great locations here in the Key, and we're gonna get to know the story behind the magic of the Sake Room today with Mario. So Mario, welcome on the show. Thank you for joining us. How are you?
Hi, good afternoon, Alejandro. How are you
So
doing?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good.
Great.
So I have a an icebreaker question for you. Tell us something about you that most people don't know.
Um, Interesting. Well, I mean, I talk a lot, so a lot of people know a lot about me, I guess. But I was actually born and raised in Venezuela, and moved permanently to the United States in about a year 2000 when I started attending FIU for hotel management and hospitality.
Gotcha. All right. Cool. 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 So the Sake Room. A lot of us, like I mentioned, have been there. Tell us, how did it all start?
Well, it all started. I was, like I said, going to school for hotel management and hospitality. I actually wanted to open up a nightclub or a bar, but I didn't think that I would get too much assistance financially from my parents and my family for that idea. So I said, well, I love Japanese cuisine. I love Japanese food, sake. I said, well, let's do something in between and open up Sakura Sushi Lounge, and presented the idea to my parents and my family, and they immediately, you know, said they would back me up financially, and I kind of jumped from going to FIU, working at the Ritz Carlton, and transitioned over to opening up the location on Biscayne Boulevard in 18th. But actually, that wasn't the first location. We opened one before on Coral Way, um, next to our laundry spot. It was a small 14-seater takeout delivery mostly,
Mhm.
and we started operating there while we built out the larger location on Biscayne Boulevard.
You mentioned that you liked Japanese cuisine, right?
Yes, absolutely.
So us being part of the inspiration for it, I guess what attracted you the most out of the Japanese cuisine?
All the flavors, the different ingredients, the freshness of eating raw fish made it interesting. I went for the first time to a Japanese restaurant here in Miami with my dad when I was about 14 years old, and got hooked on immediately. And then transitioned into going and becoming fan of many Japanese restaurants here in the local area and outside the Miami vicinity, and outside the country as well. And then I kind of wanted to do something, a Japanese food, but with a twist, a more modern take on it. And there was I kept finding that I would like different dishes from different restaurants, but that nobody had those similar dishes under one roof. So I decided, let me mix and match of my favorites, or and then mix it up with some different culinary flavors, more of a Latin taste twist to it, and that's how I developed that idea. I'm sort of a self-taught chef, uh, and I love cooking, but a lot of techniques and things I'm not, exactly acquainted to everything in the kitchen. But like I said, I like to invent, and that's how I got into the idea of doing sake.
So you mentioned that you've liked other dishes, but they were not under one roof, right?
Yeah.
And also the Latin twist to it. Can you share with us a couple of these dishes that you
Well, for instance, I would go to very traditional Japanese restaurants, and some of them had, let's say, a tuna tartare at that point in time, which is more of a French dish mixed with, instead of doing the beef, you do the tuna involved with it, and the sesame oil flavor and all that, and it was a little more delicate, or it was a little different to the traditional Japanese places. And then some of the rolls that were inventive, that had like mango in them, or coconut, or different flavors that aren't actual Japanese, like ingredients, made it interesting. So, like I said, I went to a few places where I would fell in love with a tartare, but then I went to another place that had an incredible volcano roll with conch in it, which from the conch is from Bahamas and Florida area mainly. So I started trying all these dishes. Go, wow, I really like that place's volcano roll. I really like that tartare at that place. But then you go to a more traditional Japanese place, and they wouldn't have that in particular. But then again, they would have their own or more traditional dishes that I love also. So I said, well, it'd be interesting to combine from there and here and there and do so, bring the best of the best under one roof and make it modernize it and involve other types of flavors into it. That's what I'm trying to say with other places, had maybe a fried rice that was influenced by more of a Korean cuisine, things like that that you said stand it out and say, well, I would really like to do this, and you couldn't find one place that had all these things combined.
Okay. So let's talk about the sake room in the Key specifically. Let's say I've never been. I want to take someone on a date to sake room. How would you recommend I order? What should I try? How can I impress that lady?
Okay, there's always, in all restaurants, you're always going to have these dishes that are your favorites or, your two go-to dishes when you want to have a new client try something that's more of, in-house flavor. So I would say the crunchy crab salad is one of our top sellers. I would also recommend the sakirum tostadas, which are like a wonton chip base with a sweet chili tuna, avocado, caviar, and
Uh-huh.
on them. It also has a wasabi mayo. Definitely try to go through other aspects of the kitchen and try the rock shrimp or the honey rock shrimp. There's a number of riceless rolls that are categorized riceless on our menu or with rice. I would definitely want you to try a jalapeno popper roll, which is my take of American bar food taken into Japanese cuisine, which is a roll that has shrimp tempura,
Uh-huh.
cream cheese, and jalapeno in it. Got spicy mayo and even Parmesan cheese, and it's torched. So it's very funky idea, but when they're all flavors come together and combined, it works real well. But I would definitely
Like,
try the Wagyu on the stone.
uh-huh.
It's very well priced, even though it's not in an inexpensive dish. It's very well priced for being a Wagyu cut of beef and you cook it on the hot stone yourself. So it's something that if you brought a date along, it would be something nice to do and kind of something different. Getting involved in actually cooking your own beef
Okay. Out of the ones that you've mentioned, we have the crunchy crab salad, we have the securum tostadas, the honey rock shrimp.
from the
Okay.
rice section. The tricolor deluxe is our take like on a rainbow roll, but it actually has three types of fish. It has hamachi, tuna, and salmon, and it's sliced thinly, and then a crab salad and asparagus is wrapped in the center, and then it's cut in about 9 to 10 pieces, which actually has no rice in it. So it's like our take on a fancy sashimi style rainbow roll. Let's call it that way.
Gotcha. And then we have the hot stone wagyu.
Yeah,
Okay.
wagyu on the stone. Yes.
Out of these, or maybe you mentioned it or not, which one are the most popular items you see Key Biscayneers eating?
Well, definitely roll wise, it's the Hulk roll. It's a
The
roll
Hulk?
that has yes,
Like the
Hulk.
Hulk?
Yes, exactly, like
Okay.
the Hulk, the big green guy.
Yeah.
Initially, it's funny because the Hulk roll was wrapped in a green rice paper. That's why it has the Hulk name to it. Nowadays, we don't use the green. We can't find that green rice paper, so it's in white rice paper. But initially, that's where the name comes from, and it's basically a salmon roll. It's crunchy and it has no seaweed because it's a lot of the younger crowd and you know they some of them want to keep away from the seaweed flavor. So
Mm,
there's a tendency that a lot of them will order this roll because it's wrapped instead of the usual or traditional seaweed paper, it's wrapped in white rice paper. So that's our favorite, like our number one seller as a roll. It's a roll with rice. So it's actually wrapped in the with the rice paper and rice. That's the number one seller
got it.
for
W-
rolls.
For rolls.
Yes, sir.
What about drinks?
Drinks,
It's a
we
sake
have a
room, right? So there must be sake somewhere.
yeah, we have sake. The tendency here at this particular location has been a little bit of a reduction in the sake. Outside, initially when we opened up the restaurant, we had a more extensive list, but of sake, but we still have a lot of unfiltered, filtered sake, Jumai Daijinjo sakes, excellent qualities, top award winners. So we have a smaller selection because the restaurant is also smaller in size, less
Mm,
capacity of storage. But we have a great variety of sake. We have a great variety of wines as well. We have good sparklings. But yeah, definitely sake is very important. I mean, it's sake room after all. But the tendency here is a little more familiar, family restaurant style. So, outside, a lot more people would come in for dates or to pre-party at the restaurant. And here, living in Key Biscayne, the tendency is to be more of a family-oriented restaurant, which still serves excellent sake, but the list is a bit shorter.
Gotcha. So you mentioned something about sake being filtered and unfiltered. What does that mean?
Unfiltered sake is it hasn't been polished as much, and it has the residual of the actual rice found within the bottle of sake. So when you typically get an unfiltered bottle of sake, if you lift it up, you'll see that there's a residual, like a white powdered residual on the bottom. And what you have to do is you have to shake the bottle and make sure that that unfiltered rice moves around the whole bottle. And then when
Hmm.
you'll serve it, a lot of people call it milky sake because it has that appearance of being milky because of the unfiltered rice particles. The fancier sake comes down to depending on where the water is collected. Is a very important process of sake of developing sake. So in Japan, if they carefully look for the wells or the areas they would
Mm,
collect their
okay.
water, and then the rice is the other main ingredient that you're going to have to very carefully select. And then the more polished and the more delicate that is, it becomes a higher quality sake. Wine, it will ferment naturally. Sake has to be, a yeast has to be added to the water and rice for it to ferment it. If not, it wouldn't happen like it happens in wine because of the fruits and the natural process.
So tell me about the team.
The team in soccer room, behind the scenes, the front scenes, it's developed through a mom and pop sort of operation, family build up that way, and then along the way tagged in with one of my best friends. And I always like to talk about the decor; it's very important. My mom is Teresita Cicilia. She was actually an owner at a boutique at the Square Mall called 250 Rio in the 80s and 90s. So my mom is familiar with the island back in the day when she used to have a clothing boutique, and she loves interior designing as well. And she's always assisted me in the build out and making sure that we grab the proper materials and colors. And if you walk into soccer room, it's a very uh, traditional Zen-like Japanese feel to it with a lot of like you feel that you're a lot of stones. There's a statue. There's the wall, the 3D sort of stone wall there, and we keep everything kind of like minimalistic at Saki Room, and I really enjoy that because it transcends. I think the 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 years from now will still make sense, and you don't have to jump back and change the decor. My wife, Gleda, she helps me out with the social media. My sister Alejandra has worked with me as a waitress, and she also helps us out with the pictures. And as well as Orlando Santana, my business partner, moved to the United States a few years ago and used to have. He's very familiar with managing big businesses and it's and accounting. After the point that my parents have kind of retired and my mom was more of the accounting person in our business, Orlando stepped in on the spot and went to UM. He's a great businessman, great accounting, great at keeping money organized. So that's very something interesting to have that a team of people really close knit and we're all, like I said, family or almost family in that case.
And your role in particular, what are how does a day for you look like?
My role in the restaurant, pretty much, like I said, I develop the brand.
Mhm.
I right now I consider myself like a managerial position as well. My role is go in the restaurant, make sure that the clients are well attended, making sure that the dishes are coming out the right way, developing new items every once in a while. It's time to jump in the kitchen again and add a few specials, add a few things into the menu. Recently, Armando, one of my employees, and he kind of developed a new dish that I like a lot. It's a hamachi truffle tartare and on top of a rice paper, which is very interesting. It's one of our new items. I don't even think we have physically have it in the menu, but it's a sort of something the waiters are explaining as a special and giving the opportunity to people to order it. Um, so yeah, my roles are basically come down to making sure that management wise everything makes sense. Orlando is more of the money guy, accounting guy. I'm more the front of the house guy. So we do a good yin yang on that, and in that sense as
Perfect.
well. He's a morning guy. I'm a later type of the day guy, so usually will stick around late and closing time. But yeah, basically that.
And in this whole experience as a restaurateur, what is your most favorite part of all this?
Alejandro, I guess the favorite part of being a restaurateur is when it's like a baby. Every dish that you create or that you help create or are part of, it's basically comes down to when that dish comes out and you place it on the table and you give it to your client, and sometimes I'm out there explaining the dish and being enthusiastic about it. It's actually seeing that person's feedback, and genuine feedback always, is the best when they go, wow, this is unreal, this is unbelievable, this flavor, wow, I've never had anything like this before. I didn't, that's my favorite part of owning a restaurant, is having that product come out and people enjoying it and telling you how good it is.
So let's go back into the menu. Let's go back into the menu. Can you break down a couple of items for us?
Yes, absolutely. I will. And I just wanted to add something that maybe I didn't say before, and it's very important for me, is that all the sauces at Sakirum are in-house. They're made in-house, except with the exception of soy sauce, which is some people have the virtue of being also developing their own family soy sauce, but we're not. It's a little complicated. So basically soy sauce, yuzu, which is a Japanese lime. It's like a Japanese lemon or lime style. You get a lot of yuzu dishes that people mention. That's actually like a lime. Those come in a bottle straight from Japan. The lime, juice, the soy sauce. Other than that, all the sauces that we make at Sakirum are made from scratch. That means that we do the teriyaki sauce. We put apple. We get the bone stock for the bone chicken stock. We get the apple. We get the brown sugar. We cook it for hours and hours. The eel sauce, um, sake, soy, brown sugar, etc. We all these sauces we make in house from scratch. Some of them take hours. Some of them are very easy, and two or three ingredients, and you make them in a matter of minutes. But we have over 40 sauces, and that's kind of the thing. We have a lot of people that have copied us. A lot of people have gone and knocked off the product completely, but our sauces keep our product unique. It's like a Pepsi Cola secret ingredient. I only make them at one location. I bottle it there, and I take it to my other locations. Refrigerate them if they have to be refrigerated, but they're made from scratch, and that's one of the most important factors in our food are the sauces. We take our time and pride in making them.
As a, I as a sauce guy, big fan of sauces. I appreciate that. That's very important. Sometimes I wonder, this is good. This is a great sauce. Is it made here or not? But I really appreciate the effort that you put into your sauces because I'm a big sauce fan.
Thank you.
So thank you for that.
And the next time you come in and try our food, I will, even if it means you trying them out of a spoon because you can't eat them all, I'll make sure that you try every single sauce and you see, wow, this guy was not lying to me. Except kimchi as well. The kimchi sauce and I'm sorry, the shirasha are components of our sauces that I don't make from scratch either.
So that's great on the sauces. And what about the dishes? Can you break some down for us?
Yeah, absolutely. One of our more famous or most asked dishes. It has a kind of a unique name to it, and I don't want to scare people with it because it has nothing to do with it. It has to do with Alejandro, Orlando's younger son, saw the dish the first time we did it and said, "That's a monkey brain." It isn't a monkey brain. It's the monkey brain is a dish that we make, which is basically a tuna tartare, and it's wrapped in avocado. So when you see it out, it has a very unique look to it. I wish I could, take a picture out and show it to you. So he called it a brain. So what it is it's a tuna tartare wrapped in avocado with tempura flakes and seaweed salad, flash fried as decor and flavor with some sauces like eel and ponzu added to it. So the dish comes out and it's like a beautiful looking dish. a lot of colors to it. And then I tell people you got to destroy it. So you get a spoon and you smash it open and try to mix it up, and that will be the monkey brain, which we make tuna monkey brain, and we make hamachi, and we make salmon as well. But like I said,
Yeah.
the name is does it was came from my partner's son. He's a young kid, so when he saw it, it was a very genuine remark. It's not too tasteful. A lot of people remember, think of Indiana Jones, but it is
Yes,
it's
yes,
actually a tartare. It
yes.
has no monkey brains in it.
That's
Indiana
what I
Jones.
was thinking. Yes. But awesome. What else do you have?
Another roll that I would recommend from the rice section is the wheat roll. The wheat roll happens to be wrapped also in rice paper, makes it very popular amongst the younger crowd as well. It does have a tempura shrimp in it. It does have tuna. It's wrapped, and then it, there's we do place flash fried seaweed, which changes the texture, and it becomes very green and crunchy, and it looks like weeds, like grass, wheat. And so the name of the roll is the wheat roll because it does have that seaweed that's flash fried on top of it. It's very crunchy. It gives it, and a lot of people that dislike seaweed, I recommend to give it a shot because the flavor changes completely, and it's a completely different flavor to it. From the other section of the menu, we have the sashimi salad. It's hasn't been as popular or ordered lately, so I would like to, talk about it on the podcast because it's a very delicate and nice dish. It's a beautiful looking dish as well. It basically has two or three or one cut of fish, so the customer can go either a trio, a duet, or a single type of fish. So we do a sashimi thin cut uh, of I would say the original is tuna, sashimi, and salmon. We place it on a dish about 9 to 12 slices, depending how thick they cut them. And in the center, they place a salad that a spring mix salad that they've actually wrapped with avocado, which is pretty interesting, but it's a lot flatter out. And then it has a sweet onion dressing that Japanese sweet onion dressing that we place on the salad. If you want it on the side, we can always do that. But I would suggest strongly to try it how it comes originally with the sauce. That's one of the sauces we make in house as well. And it's a very delicate and a very Japanese dish.
Awesome.
My go-to dish when I have a person come in and I see that they're having fun with all the fusion, the all the different tastes and all the different Latin flavors, Peruvian, you name it, because we use ricotta, or when I see that sometimes okay, let's pause. I see the person wants the sashimi, they want to go traditional. I go look, I would always recommend the yuzu hamachi roll because that yuzu hamachi roll is yellowtail, very delicate fish. And it comes with rice and seaweed, and then it's topped with a yuzu leaf. Now the yuzu leaf is a family of the mint leaf, but it doesn't taste nothing like mint. It's a lot bitter, and it's a very interesting flavor. And then it has a yuzu sauce that we add to it as well, and that is a very delicate roll, a very Japanese oriented flavored roll. It's when you want to have something more on the genuine Japanese flavor, I would always go to the yuzu hamachi roll. And I always tell people if they find the flavor from the leaf that you might be familiar with, because that yuzu leaf is usually used in a lot of sashimi platters to decorate, but people usually don't bite into it or have it. But it's an edible leaf, so we place it on top of the roll. And if it becomes overwhelming or it's a little too adventurous, even though it's very traditional, I tell them just to peel off the leaf part and they can enjoy the roll without it.
So I also saw some teriyaki dishes there in your menu.
They're very good dishes. They're actually probably teriyaki dishes at our restaurant are 20-25% component of our sales sometimes because they're very popular amongst the younger crowd as well. We do the salmon teriyaki, we do shrimp teriyaki, we do chicken, beef, salmon teriyaki, all three of them, and they come along with a fried rice and a house mixed salad with our own we make in house as well. Like I said, ginger dressing. But and we also that's probably their favorite dish for kids, like younger toddlers or kids. They usually go for the parents go for the chicken teriyaki, which we make in little bite-sized nuggets. We put the sauce on the side and white rice, and that's our kids menu. Basically, that's our favorite. Yes.
Awesome. Well, Mario, this has been awesome. I have one more question for you. I know that we're running out of time. What is your favorite part of Key Biscayne?
Well, Alejandro, what's my favorite part of Key Biscayne? That's a tough question because Key Biscayne is like magical. When I try to explain to clients that come in for the first time, it's like this is Miami's what New York has the Hamptons, Miami has Key Biscayne. That's my best the go-to answer for that. I mean, Key Biscayne, I don't live in the Key currently. I have a lot of friends that live there, and I spent my childhood at the aquarium. I spent my time, on bikes and skateboarding with the Key Rats. If it's okay to say
Yeah, of
that,
course.
I had my best friend Marco De Simone used to live in the Key, and so I spent a lot of time in the Key. And what is it? Like I said, every day I live by the Miami River, which is fantastic, and I love my house, and I wouldn't. It would be difficult for me to trade it. I would only trade it for probably a property in the Key because it's in the middle of Miami. But every time I leave my house, if I'm having a tough morning or I'm a little complicated because I'm overwhelmed by a lot of things I have to do. It's just once you hit that bridge and you start going over that first bridge, it's like magic. I mean, people in Key Biscayne and me that I have my business inside of Key Biscayne. We have to, we don't sometimes we overlook how lucky we are to spend time in that beautiful place. I mean, it's the vegetation, the people that are inside the Key, the schools, the tradition, the values, all the beaches around. Everybody loves the Key, and then also having that background that my mom had that boutique in there. Me growing up, I can still remember. I can't remember the name of the place, but I used to go in my mom's boutique, and so every once in a while she would bribe me with a toy or something. So from the toy store at the Square Mall, and I would always remember looking across, and I could still vividly remember having a croissant from a French bakery that was there across where Bank of America is now. So I mean, Key Biscayne, well, I mean, it's magic. I mean, it's. I hope that we can conserve it, take care of it, nature wise, and make sure that we take care of our environment. But I mean, Key Biscayne is probably, if you ask me, one of the most magical places on earth. You're in Miami and you jump in a car and 10 minutes later you're in paradise. So yeah, I mean, never take for granted. Key Biscayne is a beautiful place to be.
Mario, thank you so much for your time to tell us about your story, the team behind the Saki Room, and how everything started, and for spending time with us. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Alejandro. It was a pleasure talking to you.